So I don't normally do videos on Chainlink, but there is some monstrous news that we need to dig into, we need to cover off, and you need to be aware of because I think people are sleeping on Chainlink, and I'm going to explain exactly why in today's video. Let's go. So look, Chainlink on Coin Market Cap currently priced at $8.93. It's up 3.74% in the past 24 hours. The crypto market is, going up in value, up 4% overall for total market cap of crypto globally at $2.38 trillion. But look, Chainlink for me, I've kind of said this quite a lot, is like a must have piece of technology. Obviously, oracles for on and off chain data. For me, Chainlink is the main oracle provider. It's got first mover advantage. And look, I've got first hand experience when it comes to running businesses and trying to break into to markets, right? It's very difficult if the competitors, let's say Chainlink is that competitor, if it's doing a fantastic job, it's really hard to break into that market. So there are other Oracle providers, but I think Chainlink is doing a phenomenal job. And I think because of that, others coming into the Oracle space, unless they're giving something that Chainlink can't give or isn't willing to give or isn't currently giving, then they've got very, very, low percentage chance of actually, taking and eating into some of that market share for Oracle. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're all fail, but like for me, this competition is done. It's just my opinion. Take it with a pinch of salt. Do your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, because you do risk losing all of your money if you invest in cryptocurrency. But the reason why I say this, Chainlink, first mover advantage, don't think it's going to be shifted. They're working with the biggest players in, traditional finance. And we're seeing this pivot at the moment from speculative market into real world utility and, traditional markets. And because of that, the projects that we see, with a high likelihood of getting a spot ETF that are connecting and already connected with traditional finance institutions, hedge funds and stuff like that, governments even. These are the projects that I think are going to go on to be most successful. Obviously, it's just my opinion. And look, just to cement this in, this for me is just huge. The Bank of England launches a new pilot project with Chainlink Network. So again, just really big news coming out of the UK. The Bank of England has chosen Chainlink, a decentralized oracle that connects smart contracts to real world data, to join its synchronization lib. I can't even pronounce all of this laboratory. I don't even know what that is. The lab aims to test how blockchain based assets can be settled in parallel with traditional central bank money. So without Chainlink and without oracles, smart contracts don't work and you don't get mainstream adoption. That's why Chainlink is such a crucial part. And for me, at least, my opinion, and for my portfolio, is a must have in the portfolio, right? So Chainlink is among 18 selected companies to participate in this pilot program. So again, it's a pilot program. It's going to run for approximately 6 months. Chainlink focuses on developing a decentralized approach to executing settlements that connects central bank money to digital securities. So huge, huge play here. The synchronization laboratory, whatever that is, I have no idea. But any pilots, any partnerships with big institutions, big players like the Bank of England are really, really big and important. We got Chainlink, how this liquidity cluster could pull Link to $9. Link isn't that far off $9 at $8.93. Obviously, we went down quite low. We were at like $8.20. What was the lowest price? Yeah, like $8.19. So Yeah, look, I think we're going beyond $9 to be quite frank. So look, 1.71 million link ETF weekly inflows, key support rebound, $8.39. Um, we got Ondo partners with Chainlink to enable tokenized US stocks as DeFi collateral. Again, like just really big, monstrous partnerships that just don't really get raved about. Again, this one probably bigger than the UK bank, the Bank of England, in the respect of the size of what is happening with Ondo. Like you got two types of really big partnerships in my eyes. You've got the blockchain to blockchain partnership, Ondo, Chainlink, kind of like a no-brainer. And then you've got the, traditional banking, money market partnerships. And yeah, they're like two different types of partnerships in my eyes, both very important, but important for different reasons. So again, just really, really good to see this. And then we've got Chainlink price could rally to $10 as oversold RSI signals a bounce. So look, I think we're seeing that bounce now. I think we're going to probably go higher than $10. I think that Chainlink is massively undervalued. Obviously, this is just my opinion, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Go speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. That is not me. This is purely for entertainment purposes only. So look, top analyst says Chainlink price could 17x from here. The $100 chart setup explained. So Chainlink is one of those coins that almost feels forgotten in the market. I agree with that. The link price is sitting around $8, moving quietly with most traders chasing louder narratives elsewhere. Completely agree with that. And yeah, look, this analyst believes that Link is sitting inside a major long term accumulation zone, and the next expansion could shock people who stop paying attention. His chart points to a setup that looks bigger than a normal bounce. So, yeah, look, huge bounce expected. According to that particular analyst, right? And this is what he's been sharing on X. So look, for me, this is a really huge price prediction, 17x from here. I still think that we are in a setup for one of the biggest bull runs in crypto history for altcoins. I will be proven right or wrong. Time will tell. Not everybody's going to agree. Everybody's going to be saying that we're in a a bear market now, but I don't believe that, not for a moment. And then we've got the CME Group. They've launched Cardano, Chainlink, and Stellar futures. This is like normally what happens before you get Spot ETF approvals. And then we've got Chainlink's, founder joins 35 member CFTC panel. So yeah, dominated by crypto executives. Again, really good to see. He's with like quite a few pretty well known people from the crypto space, like Brad Garlinghouse, Brian Armstrong, and so on. Terry Duffy, and a few others. But look, this is going to be good for Chainlink. Like being part of these panels normally means you're going to be able to sway people in the right directions, particularly for your project. We can kind of suggest and surmise that Brad Garlinghouse is definitely doing something very similar with Ripple XRP. So look, I wanted to do a quick video on Chainlink. I think Chainlink's going to do very well. It's one of the biggest investments in my crypto portfolio right now, and I've shifted my focus on how I invest over the last few years. I was VeChain was my biggest investment, still a big investment in my portfolio, but I'm shifting my focus to what is a nice to have and what is a must have. So for me, must haves, like you've got to have, oracles. You've got to have exposure to oracles. Without oracles, smart contracts don't work how they need to for real world utility. nothing will be tokenized on the blockchain from the real world if you don't have smart contracts that have, access to oracles. And then you've got compliant privacy. That's why I'm heavily invested in a project called Midnight. So those are like must haves, and not must have, but you'd be stupid not to have, in my humble opinion, would be a whole host of layer ones, because I believe that a lot of this stuff is going to be hosted from a layer one blockchain or multiple layer one blockchains. So having access to those are kind of like, the main focus for me. What do I think is going to have a spot ETF in the future? Focus on investing in those. What is a must have, not a nice to have? Invest in those. I'm staying away from, narratives like gaming. And you've got to be really careful with some of the real world asset tokenization plays. Lots of fake projects, rug pulls, all that sort of stuff. Same that we saw with gaming. I stay away from gaming now. Like, I've learned my lessons with gaming. And same with AI, right? There's going to be a lot of projects that are just absolute nonsense in the AI space. So, really focus on doing your own research. Never invest more than you're willing to lose, because like I say, you do risk losing all of your money if you invest in crypto. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Join us in the free educational Discord, link in the description of today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.